The After Hours Podcast.
Spoiler alert!
But yeah, let's talk about WandaVision. WandaVision. What you think? You didn't like it at the start, did you? Or you were struggling?
Well, like I was like, it was dead. It was really slow, and I was just like, oh, the people that care know what's happening, if that makes sense. Like the people that know about the universe. That I wasn't there for the first 2 hours, the first 2 episodes, just going like, wow, I wonder why it's in the 60s. Like we know we're there. Like, you know what I mean?
No, 100%. But I mean, the whole mystery thing aside, I thought it was just cool. It was like a really nice homage to like certain sitcoms of the periods that they're based on.
Yeah, it did well. Actually, do you know what they're missing out on? Do you know what I really want?
Go on.
I want them to go all Chuckle Vision with it, and I'm like, well, WandaVision, and have them like messing around with the thing about the Chuckle Brothers.
It was asking for it a little bit, wasn't it?
I was like, come on.
I wonder how well known Chuckle Vision is overseas. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe it's more of a little joke that only us Brits would get.
Still worth it though.
To me, to you, and all that. But no, I'm fully in. I'm going to regret saying this, but I've said it before. I've enjoyed it more than I think anything else in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Even though technically it's a TV universe, but it's the same thing and it's all intertwined.
Like it is good and it's different. Because we were watching the whole the big reveal thing ages ago at one of the cons, and like they were like proper. They were like, it's gonna be ambitious and weird and different, and I was like, okay. And then watching it, I'm just like, it's just not that ambitious, really. Like, it's not that crazy. I do like what they're doing, because it's the thing with Marvel that I'm not a fan of. That like a lot of their villains and stuff like that are just evil versions of the hero.
Oh mate, you know what? I was going to bring this up. I'll tell you what. I'll give you that. One thing you did say is it's like the method that the MCU inside Disney have always used. You know, whether it be Iron Man 1, you know, bigger Iron Man is the villain.
Iron Man 1 is bigger Iron Man.
Yeah,
Iron Man 2 is not an Iron Man, but he's using Iron Man stuff.
He may as well.
Iron Man with whips. It's like
Iron Man 3, a guy who's, I don't know, a technical genius who's become stronger through his scientific knowledge. Yeah. It's another Iron Man.
But so they compensate by having an army of Iron Men.
Oh, hang on. Josh is doing something.
Yes.
Yes. My bye. Basically, me and Ben figured it was Ryan's idea, actually. He's like, why don't you guys talk about WandaVision since no one else has watched it? So I just thought, it, are you up to date?
Yeah, man, I'm all clued in.
It was alright, innit? Yeah. So briefly, briefly, me and Ben have been in for about 5 minutes, if that, saying maybe I've enjoyed it a little more than Ben has so far. But one thing I've given Ben is from early, he's said, is one thing he hates about MCU kind of method is it's always like the hero flipped is the villain. So it's like a really simple thing, you know, ever since Iron Man.
It's like every time. It's like, oh, Doctor Strange, who's he fighting? He's fighting an evil, also chosen wizard. He's fighting evil Doctor Strange.
It's a different
Iron Man's got to fight evil Iron Man.
You can pretty much go through and like, you could pretty much, they've used that method with good effect a lot of times.
But it's like, as well, it's like, but like, say Thor and Loki, that's different enough. That's different enough. You're like, okay, cool. But then what did they do with the next one? Oh, you got to fight the other evil sibling with green magic.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, so close.
The thing I'll say about that is it gets criticised a lot, and it's worth criticising. But at the same time, it's not that Marvel have been doing this for the past, what's it been now, like 11 years.
Yeah.
Marvel have been doing that for 80 years now.
Yeah, it is the
comic formula.
Exactly. It's not the MCU doing that. It's the MCU drawing off all of the source material and all of the source material throughout comic book history. And I've got to give them props for it, I suppose, because throughout all comic books, throughout history, because I've been a comic book nerd like for years, mostly DC and things like Dark Horse, but it's something that they've all done, which is just pit, and it's all metaphor for pitting against like your inner demons and, you know, things that are just like you, and all that kind of thing. And fair play to the filmmakers for actually doing it justice, I suppose, because they could have, because what's happened with most comic book films and why Marvel's now so successful and previously comic book films haven't been, is it's because the studios have had these properties and done their twist on it, rather than doing Marvel. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when Marvel became a studio and they started doing it properly, that's what the fans actually want. And now we've got a new wave of fans who only came in with the MCU who are like, yeah, I like it, but why is the villain always the antithesis? And it's because it just always has been. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. Although this is what I mean with Agatha Harkness, she in the comics she's an old lady, and she's that older. It would have been a lot cooler to see her as an older character, like visibly a lot older, because then it'd be a lot more with the whole she has way more experience and you'd actually feel like there's some stakes. But right now, because they're spooky and magic, you're like, Wanda might just, like in the next episode, say they're fighting, Wanda could just as easily get angry, flash red, and might knock her on her ass. We have no idea. Like, it'd be a lot easier to set the stakes if they were like, I am more experienced, and then visibly she looks more experienced. And
the thing, I know what you mean. The thing is, the bitch is 1,000 years old. You know what I mean?
I was about to say, innit? They're doing the Marvel thing, like Thor don't look his age either. You know what I mean? Like they did the flashback to the Salem trials. It kind of paints the picture of the age of this lady.
Yeah. So she's been around for a very, very long time, and obviously she's not aged the same way other people have. But in the same vein, I know exactly what you mean, because the way visual media and movies work is we see something on the screen and it makes us make certain assumptions based on societal stereotypes and everything around it. And a very simple way of us seeing that experience, because that's what we do when we see older people, we see the experience. It's why that they're elders and everything. So I agree with you. If they have, I did think, because in the comics she's not Wanda's age, you know, she's not some fucking 30-year-old housewife.
She's an old woman.
She can transfigure herself and all the rest of it, but like she hasn't. She still looks exactly the same as when she was fucking 25 or whatever. So one thing I did like though, because it took me a while to notice the de-aging on her when they were doing
I was going to say the de-aging. She was peng in that opening scene.
Yeah,
because it was subtle. It was really subtle.
Exactly.
Me and Becky, my girlfriend, for purposes of the audience, have been you know, we've said like, why is like this woman weirdly attractive? And then you see her younger and you're like, holy shit, yeah, no, definitely she would have been. But it's really subtle, the de-aging. Like, it's probably the most impressive de-aging I've seen because I didn't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And one thing I will just say quickly, I absolutely adore, I've just forgotten her name, but I adore the lady who plays.
She is hilarious.
She's
amazing at everything.
The little winks at the screen, all that, so much character, you know, and it's a deep episode. I mean, they all are, and she hangs into that entertaining role of, you know, evil / whatever the hell's going on, and does it so beautifully, I think. Like, but just quickly moving on to, I'm guessing you've seen the post-credit, Josh.
Yes, right, yeah.
Right, of course. So
oh my god, an evil vision. Who could have thought?
Exactly. Going back to Ben's original point, that really did make me spit my tea out and laugh. I was like, you know, if they had...
This is the second evil vision now.
Yeah. And it's, but then again, you know, it's kind of been slapping you in the face the entire time. Operation Cataracts. Cataracts is double vision. It makes your vision white and cloudy. You've got a double vision that's white and cloudy, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Is that a comic thing as well? Because I don't actually know the vision
there is,
part.
I'm
not sure about that character.
There's a version of Vision that's white vision.
Yeah,
West Coast Avengers, I think. It's basically the same thing. It's Vision getting remade without his consciousness.
Oh, right, cool.
He's not very human anymore. Do you know what I mean? He's very...
and obviously, the internet is the internet, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but immediately after that episode aired, because we watched it pretty early after it aired, Becky's on Reddit looking at things, and the amount of white power jokes coming out was just horrifying.
Really?
Oh, mate, just instantly. Because he's white vision, and they're all going, oh, what kind of white power is he going to have? Everyone's just taking the piss, you know what I mean? But it's the internet. You're just taking it straight to that racial place on everything.
I did more of like, they should put like an Apple logo on him and stuff like that.
Looking like an iPad.
Yeah.
What do you think's in his forehead?
I mean...
the newest iPhone. The iPhone 12 or 13 or whatever.
Touchpad to activate his balls. I reckon they've probably made some kind of synthetic power source, because I think, you know, that's what the stone essentially is for.
I reckon it's going to be like an art reactor or something.
But yeah, they probably will have bastardized some of Tony Stark's stuff. I'm interested to see where all this dark shit goes now that Tony's died, because, you know, you hear all that, oh yeah, the leader's gone and all the rest of this, but Tony Stark was the one thing keeping the government away away from his shit.
Yeah, and now they're just walking in again.
From the comics, like, it does not go well. Like, they come in and take a lot of things, and, you know, they start making...
This sword, sorry.
Yeah, just the government in general just using Stark's technology now that he's not around to protect it.
When she was going in and she was like, I'm the next of kin and stuff like that, and I was like, but if they weren't, like, legally together, and I was like, but then that means it's technically Stark's still. And I was like, but Stark's dead now, so it's either Pepper's or Spider-Man's. And I just love the idea of, like, him leaving it to Peter Parker or something.
That's a question I've genuinely got. Did they get married off screen, like, before Endgame or something? You know, in between Infinity War and Endgame? When they were hiding in Scotland? Yeah, because it seems like there was some serious time passed there, and obviously their relationship developed. He figured out how to look like a person, all of that didn't really get spoke about. Perhaps she could have been next of kin, but then again, you know, there'll have had to have been interventions as to whether he's a living thing and, you know, whether he can get married.
Yeah, I think it's probably more likely that she was just saying that.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, I'm the one, like, I'm the emotional attachment, like a family member or something like that, so I'm the one who's going to bury him and stuff, so...
So what do you reckon to this dickhead who's running sword then? What's his beef?
So what do you reckon the chances are he's Mephisto?
I was about to say,
people have been saying that from the beginning.
Yeah, people have been thinking that.
A lot of theories about that, and I don't want it to be that. I don't know why. I just feel like it's a cop-out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It feels like it's almost, because, like Dom said, everyone's been saying it since the start, it feels too obvious.
Yeah.
And it would feel almost forced, I think.
But also, in his, it was a thing that... I don't want to say I figured it out, 'cause I'm pretty sure I heard it off the internet.
I've seen this on a few channels, the hex in his office.
The hexagons in his office, all his things on the wall are in the shape of a hexagon.
Yeah, but the show, I think fans are starting to read too much into thematic.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And they're setting it up for that as well, like, do you know what I mean? Because
they're playing with everyone. They know what they're doing. They are absolutely, there's shit in there that's red herrings all over the place that's designed to play with people doing what we're doing right now. And
I mean, if you think back to, like, Fury with the sandwich and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness.
They do deep stuff, but it's not too, like...
Yeah.
It's never going to be like, oh, look at that book in the background. It's slightly askew, just like the way that this thing was.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to wonder as well. Maybe they get like writing direction from some of these crazy fans.
I promise you they do.
Yeah, because the whole Fury thing set off a Skrull theory, and this was years and years before Captain Marvel was created.
Yeah.
And then years, you know, even a couple years again, until we get that weird, you know, post-credit Spider-Man scene where he is a Skrull. How long's that been going on? Possibly since the sandwiches. I don't know.
What we've got now, as film writers and producers and shit, is a very unique situation that there's never been before, where you can access everything that all the fans think. So for decades, they've been reading what all the fans post about wanting to see in films.
Just flicking back to the subject in hand before we keter off into Marvel in general, which we could probably do later with the boys. So last episode, predictions. I mean, I think one thing that we've sort of with the fans running away with their ideas and the theories for this show, everyone wants it to be huge. We've wanted Mephisto from the beginning. I've wanted Nightmare from the beginning. We've wanted these big guys. I'm loving Paul Bettany's sort of troll that it's starting to look like now. I think he said something along the lines of he has fireworks in the last scene with an actor he's always wanted to work with who's Shakespearean trained. Now that's looking like he's talking about himself, which is
he literally is. He was saying it about episode 8. He was saying that there's a surprise actor featured there. I've always respected him and wanted to work with him and shit. He was talking about him. Yeah,
it's brilliant. The whole Quicksilver thing we've already stopped talking about. I think they've successfully managed to just do something to say, hi, I'm Kevin Feige, I now have the rights and I can do this shit without even relating it. I think he's just going to be, he's that actor because he's that actor. I don't think that's the crossover at the X-Men. They're just toying with us. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's great. I'm actually happy that they've done it that way. And that's cool. Like, even though it blew our minds when he showed up at the door. Do you know what I mean? And it really did. I remember you messaged me straight away, Josh, just like, well, me. I did not expect that. You know what I mean? So
my reaction was like, oh, don't this up, please.
Did anyone see that weird...
I was like, oh.
that weird thing that someone pointed out that they reckon there was a demon arm in the doorway when he walked in?
No.
Oh, I've gone deep with this. Yeah, so certain people have freeze framed the mirror behind her on the scene where he walks into the gaff, and it looks like there's a demon arm, but I think that they're reaching. Do you know what I mean? It's so... It
was like me it was like me with the evil laugh the other day, Dom, when I thought I heard an evil laugh.
On the scene where Wanda's spitting out all the chaos magic, and she's, building.
She's making a hubby come back. It was like the weird, like, distorted sound.
Well, you get some Mind Stone energy, don't you, pouring out of her? Because everything.
Yeah, well, she got it from that as well, I think.
Exactly. Like, I think she took. It seems that they're going down the route of they're probably going to do mutants. She's been a mutant, but she didn't know about it. It looks like she put a hex on that bomb when she was a child. Cool. Probability hex or whatever it was, but she didn't know she was doing it. And then when she's met the Mind Stone, the Mind Stone's attempted to kill her or do something. She's seen a vision of what she could be, this Nexus being that is the Scarlet Witch with all powerful. And the whole Nexus being means that she's a thing that can exist in the multiverse. There's only one of her instead of multiples, and she can draw a power from all of them. And like the way that they do magic in the MCU is literally that. If you go back and watch Doctor Strange, they're just borrowing shit energy from that doesn't belong in our dimension kind of thing, and that's all magic is. So the fact that she's a Nexus being means that it's limitless, and she can exist everywhere. But the one thing I think we've missed is this entire show's been in a bubble. Like literally, they filmed it in a bubble, and I think they've done that on purpose, because now I'm seeing reports that people who don't want to buy Disney Plus, don't panic. You can go and watch Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and all this, and it ain't going to matter if you haven't seen WandaVision. So that tells me, straight away that this is just a self-contained show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the What If series is also going to be self-contained, like definitely.
I'm annoyed that's animated.
Say again, mate.
I'm annoyed that's animated.
Really? I'm quite looking forward to that. Because the animations are never that great, and remember Into the Spider-Verse.
I just wish it was live action. I don't know why. I'm well happy that they're doing some version of Marvel Zombies at least, because there's zombie cap in the trailer.
Oh, that's gonna be.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
I don't know. Have you seen much of like actual Marvel Zombies?
Yeah.
I've read a bit of it. Yeah.
Just in, because they're all just sat around being.
Yeah.
Like, because they've lost all their factions. They're just like zombies eating each other, and Hulk keeps eating Spider-Man again and again and shit. It's so funny and ridiculous.
Yeah, man. It sounds great. I can't wait for it.
I remember like Wolverine's like, he wants to like attack someone so much, and he like gets caught on something, and the skin of all of his arm just comes off, and it's just the metal skeleton going at him, and his like arms hanging off him like it's like a loose bit of clothing.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's just weird.
Predictions. That's what we'll do.
It's all.
Oh, Ben straight in. Ben, what's happening?
It's all Dottie's fault. That bitch. She's gonna be the real bad guy.
You're hanging up with that, aren't you?
It's Dottie.
So is she Mephisto a nightmare? Who's your mom?
I'd go more Mephisto, because the storyline with the kids is more Mephisto.
So the kids being the fact that they are part of Mephisto's soul.
By Mephisto.
Do you think the rabbit's anything to do with it? Senor Scratchy?
That is a character or something, isn't it?
It's her son. It's Agatha Harkness's son is Nicholas Scratch in the comics.
Right.
So that would make sense.
Makes sense why she's feeding the rabbit and shit then.
Exactly, the way that it, it's a carnivorous rabbit ate a bug.
I've got a very out there prediction.
Go on. Let's have it.
So, do you know who Wanda and Quicksilver's dad is in the comics?
Yeah, of course.
Magneto.
Yeah. There is a theory.
Is that your Shakespearean actor?
Yeah, there's a theory that Wanda, with her parents when they die in Sokovia, those are her adopted or foster parents. They're not real parents. Eric Magneto was all over Europe all the time killing Nazis. Like it's commonplace in the comics that he was getting revenge for what happened to him as a child.
Yep.
So he's going all over Sokovia and such, makes this child either doesn't know or decides to abandon it. Maybe has even come from a different...
He's the father of both of them, isn't it? He's the father of the twins, yeah.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, yeah. So he's had these kids and not knowing they've been adopted from the orphanage or whatever, and he's actually then going to come back in because maybe it's explained away that reality's got split or something when he tried to do the making... when he tried to make the whole world into mutants in the first X-Men.
Mm.
Right? Becky came up with this theory that what if alternate universe is he has moved universe, come into our universe where there is no mutants, and then creates his machine to create mutants, and that happens here and just creates some, and then suddenly mutants are a part of the franchise, and that's how it's introduced.
Would you not prefer, right, okay, so if we're doing the Magneto thing, everyone knows that's Wanda's dad, everyone's waiting for Magneto to come in. If they're doing that, would it not make sense to reverse the House of M line, the most famous like Wanda line ever uttered, which is no more mutants, where she literally wipes them out in one incantation kind of thing? Would you not reverse that? Let there be mutants. Do you know what I mean? Something like that.
Potentially, he's maybe come in and say, "Listen, I'm a mutant. You're a mutant. You're not actually a real witch." It's weird how they've mashed together different ideologies for how she comes to be as well, because the witch arc doesn't quite fit with what's happened to her so far, so they're having to shoehorn in a little bit. I quite like the fact that like she stopped the bomb. It wasn't a dove. She stopped. I like all that sort of stuff, but it's interesting watching them go from she's a telepathic, she's got powers from the Mind Stone, she's an enhanced being, and all the rest of this, and now suddenly they're like, she's an actual witch.
I still feel like the scene of the bomb is dubious, but it does look like she stopped it.
The thing that always interesting with these franchises when they get bigger like this is they've got all this mad superhero shit going on, and then allegedly there's all-powerful witches hanging around who've just been up to nothing recently.
Well, this is it. You know the Doctor Strange.
The world gets invaded by aliens and shit, and these witches are all just chilling, waiting. Like, what were they doing?
Hopefully we'll get another kind of Endgame style film. We'll revisit. You know, when you saw the ancient one on the roof just doing a thing. I enjoyed that. It was like,
I like that.
She was helping.
What I will say is that like I don't really mind them not explaining it too much with Wanda, because that'd be quite because she is a weird character and she just does weird stuff.
We're not supposed to get it.
As well, because Marvel explain everything. But the science behind it, like we all know Spider-Man's biology at this point. Like, and then you look at DC and it's like, why can Superman do this? It's like the sun, you idiot. Like, it's really different.
But this is you say that, Ben, but you're working yourself on a who's more powerful, Superman or whoever it was that you're working on. We're sat here discussing, what it is. So no wonder they're wrapping everything up with a nice bow and making sure everything works, because we'll pull them apart otherwise.
That's the thing. The reputation now is they're a theory maker's wet dream. Because they cover every possible angle and all the misdirections. Even the have you seen the teaser trailer for the new Spider-Man? That's literally just the name on a whiteboard.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And there's bare Easter eggs all around it, and you're like, oh.
Have you, Ben?
I haven't. No.
They've released the name of the film.
Oh, it's something home.
Yeah, it's called No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah.
But the main cast, Tom Holland's Zendaya, and the Asian kid, I can't remember his name, the actor, the kind of older guy. They're walking out of the director's office looking disappointed, and Tom Holland is like, he won't even tell us the name. They never let me know anything. It's not like I spoil anything. And the other two are like, Tom, you spoil everything. He's like, when did I spoil anything? He's like, the last film. And it's really cringy and cheesy. The office is massively done up like Halloween. And I'm like, right, it's well been too long since Halloween that they filmed that.
Bro, I've seen.
But it's coming out in Christmas, so why is the Halloween decoration?
I've seen videos that are 30 plus minutes in length.
I know.
Of people breaking that shit down and going, this means that, and that means this. But it's hilarious. But we're kind of doing it here. All right, so you're going with mutants. You're hoping that the last episode's going to be a big one.
I just really want the X-Men to be done better, because Wolverine was always done, this is my opinion, Wolverine was always perfect, the rest of them not so much. Actually, Magneto and Professor X were perfect as well.
The old boys, obviously.
Yeah, the rest of it's all been a bit
If Magneto comes in, I take it you prefer Sir Ian McKellen than...
if Ian McKellen is not at least Magneto for 5 minutes in like another multiverse scene, I am kicking the off. Like, either that happens or they don't introduce Magneto into the MCU. Because if Ian McKellen is at some point Magneto in this film franchise, I'm kicking off.
What about Fassbender? Do you like Fassbender?
I like Fassbender. Do you know what I mean? Bring him in, make him the main guy, whatever. It's just at the very least, I want something of Ian McKellen's Magneto in this universe. I don't even have a real reason behind that. I just really.
I'll second that. Definitely.
Just really want to see that. And I think for him to be Wanda's dad, I don't think Fassbender can really pull off.
No, exactly. Yeah. I think that I don't really know what to think. I think it's not going to be as big as we think, and I think Doctor Strange is going to turn up. Vision will fight Vision. Monica Rambeau is someone we've overlooked a little bit. She's looking hella powered. I mean, I'm pretty sure if they're doing what she does in the comics, she could pretty much like mimic and learn. Like her body will just the way that Wanda attacked her, she'll know about that shit now. So maybe Agatha will hit her with a blast, and then she'll be able to fire purple back at her. I don't know.
And she's Captain Marvel levels of powerful as well, Photon. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad that they're doing the whole...
Spectrum?
It's going to be one of the two. It looks like they're going for Spectrum with the white design of all the suits that she's been wearing, but a mother call sign was Photon as well, so in the MCU. So yeah, it's probably going to be Spectra, but it's dead cool. I'm glad that they're setting her up and that she's looking really good because, you know, just briefly, I think they made a pretty bad call with Little Miss Emotionless Brie. To play
I was about to say, they've clearly done this to write her out of the franchise.
Exactly. She's supposed to be the next Iron Man, and the Captain Marvel 2 film now has not only her, but 2 strong female characters back in it, and one of which is Monica Rambeau. The other is Miss Marvel, who's the actress playing in the TV series. So we'll see what goes on with that. But yeah, we're all happy with it. We're all enjoying it. Ben, you enjoying it a bit more than you were at the start?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I was I was just sort of like, ugh.
Yeah.
With the beginning, I was just like, we know what's happening. The people that care know.
Yeah.
It didn't need to. They could have made episode 1 and 2. They could have put it into just 1.
You see, I'm going to disagree with you, man, because I enjoyed those the most. Like before they even got into the nitpicking, I could watch those. Like, there's just so much like likability and yeah, it was nice. It was just nice. Maybe I'm getting old. I enjoyed it. It was lovely. But yeah, we'll wrap this shit up because I want to go and eat.
The After Hours Podcast.